Hey guys, let's talk about directory structure in Linux. In the Linux system, the start of a file system is a directory called root or slash. And every single file or directory that resides in a Linux system resides inside this root directory. Only a special user called root can write to this directory. Now, there are multiple subdirectories under root, so let's talk about each of them. /bin contains user binaries for commands that you will run under a single user mode. So for example, commands like copy, commands like list, etc. So to access these commands, all you got to do is go to your terminal, cd space /bin and do a list, and you can see the list of all the commands under /bin. So you've got commands like list, copy, cat, which is to read the contents of a file. Now all the commands that a system administrator might use for system maintenance are located under sbin. So bin will have single user mode commands and sbin will have system maintenance commands like reboot. So to have a look at sbin, so just go cd space /sbin and we can type in ls here, and we can see it's got commands like reboot and then shutdown as well. So maintenance related commands. Now the next directory we want to talk about is /opt, and opt stands for optional. So what happens is this folder contains any add-on applications that you might want to install on this system. For example, if you're installing Splunk, which is a SIEM to monitor events, or you want to install Elasticsearch, which is a search related application, you'll install those applications under /opt. Next is /boot, which contains files that are related to the bootloader program on the system. So bootloader helps you load the kernel into the operating system when you reboot or when you boot the system. /root is the home directory of the root user. So you've got three types of root keywords here. Root represented by a slash, which is the starting point of the file system. A super user named root, which can write to the /root directory, to the slash directory. And thirdly, /root, which is the home directory of the root user. So three types of root. One represented by slash is the starting point of file system. /root is the home directory of a super user also called root, and that user is the only user that can write to slash. Next up is dev, and this contains all the device related files on your system. So if we go back to our terminal and type in cd /dev, do an ls, we can see it's got our disk files represented by SDAs, CD-ROM, etc. Going back to the slide, next directory is /etc, and this directory contains configuration related information for our system. For example, if I go to /etc, do an ls, it contains my cron tab, and cron tab is a utility that allows you to schedule tasks. It also contains my host files. So hosts contains all the known hosts of the system, and host.allow is like a whitelist. So I'm allowing these hosts to be able to connect to the system, and deny will deny those hosts. Hostname contains the hostname of the system. Going back to the slide, next is SRV. So SRV stands for service, and this contains server specific services related data. So if you have a Linux server running and there are certain specific services running on that machine, the data for that particular service will reside under SRV. Next up is home, and this is the home directory for all the users on a Linux system except the root user. Why? Because the root user's home directory is /root. So just bear in mind, this is the home directory for every other user apart from root. So going back, so if I type in cd/home and do an ls, I can see there's a user named Labbit, and this is the home directory of the Labbit user. So if I go cd/Labbit, sorry, I use the absolute path, so I can see that under Labbit, the Labbit user has his desktop, documents, downloads, etc. Now next is /temp, and this is a temporary directory. And a cool feature of Linux is anything you put in the temporary directory gets deleted when you reboot your system. So if you're doing some task and you want to download some temporary files that you don't need after you finish that task, once you're done, reboot your system and everything under /temp will be automatically deleted. Next is /lib, and /lib contains system libraries, and these library files support the binaries located under bin and sbin. So these files under /lib contains the explanation for the Linux operating system on how to handle these commands that are under bin and sbin. Next is USR, and USR contains binaries, libraries, and documentation for second level programs. So basically all the programs, for example anything you might want to install like a nano text editor or anything else, gets installed under USR, and USR contains all the system-wide read-only files. It also has a bin and an sbin, and so if you can't find a command under bin, you can find it under USR/bin, and if you can't find a maintenance related command under /sbin, you can try and find it under USR/sbin. Now the next directory is media, and media is nothing but a temporary mount for your media related files, for example your CD-ROM or your USB. A similar file directory is /mnt, and /mnt is a temporary mount directory where system admins can mount file systems. Now last is /var, and /var contains files that are expected to grow over time, for example your log files. So as you can see, it's cache, log, spool, and temp. So let's have a look at the contents of var. So if we go back to our terminal and go to cd space /var and hit ls, and we go under cd log, we can say it has the kernel log, the dpkg log, authentication log, system log, etc. Now this brings us to the end of this lecture. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.